Gustav Caillebotte was born into a wealthy family on August 19, 1848 in Paris. While he did show a love for art, he studied law and earned a law degree in 1868 and licensed to practice law as well. But before he could practice law, he was drafted into the Franco-Prussian War. After the war, he visited painter Léon Bonnet's studio, where he would begin his dive into painting. After attending an Impressionist exhibition in 1874, he became interested in the art style, while still holding some of his realism styles. Caillebotte in 1873 would inherit his father's fortune, which he would dedicate to painting for the rest of his life. As we will see in the next two paintings, he painted in a more realistic style than other Impressionists at the time, but I believe this separates him from other artists at the time, contributing to his uniqueness. Because of his obscurity during his time, while being an amazing artist, I want to bring attention to him in his paintings, as well as his subtle change in style as he became close to the other Impressionists such as Degas, Renoir, and Pissarro, never truly sticking to one style. I also want to focus in on what made him unique and exemplify his skill as a painter. Young Man at His Window, painted in 1875, was one of my favorite paintings of his due to the way it was painting, having somewhat of a comic book style to it. The young man in this painting is René Caillebotte, Gustav's brother who would pass away due to illness the following year. This painting observes many impressionist qualities such as the view of the city and the man seen from behind. It is indeed a snapshot of a man's life, but due to its composition, it feels as if we are also a part of the painting. Whether we are guessing his house or not, it definitely feels as if we are looking at a man who's thinking about something. Almost the feeling of detachment from the painting, like we're looking at the protagonist of a movie. Perspective layers to this work, as we have the chair in the foreground, the man, then the view of the city further into the painting. Although we see a sense of stillness with the young man daydreaming or thinking of the city in front of him, it is definitely in motion, as we can see with the horse-drawn carriage and the woman on the street. Floor Scrapers, another painting of his that was painted in 1875, is a painting similar to Gustave Courbet's Stonebreakers. It depicts workers scraping wood floor. We see that while they are scraping the floor in front of them, that they are actually scraping back, due to how the wood shavings are placed as well as their muscle and arm placements. While the one closer to us is going back, we see that the worker to the right is actually going forward. We see movement as they approach each other and seem to exchange words with each other. To depict this type of moments in these workers' lives is an extreme testament to Caillebotte's skill. Just like in Caillebotte's painting of a young man at his window, we see impressionist styles of having movement and figures facing away from the viewer. We also see Caillebotte's obsession with light and reflection with the sunlight coming through the window from the back and into the workers and floors. This helps with the illusion that the workers are indeed scraping the floor, as the parts that have not been scraped reflect more light than the more matte tone of the actual scraped floors. Both paintings, if looked on by a viewer with no knowledge of the artist, would probably believe that they were painted by two different artists, as they have vastly different styles. As Floor Scrapers does have more realism qualities and more detailed anatomy. He was very influenced by other Impressionists at the time, which gave each paintings their different flavors of Impressionism. But the most stark quality in Caillebotte's trademark is his attention to light and reflection that can be seen in both paintings. As I have said with Floor Scrapers, we also see this in a young man at his window. With a man's reflection, we also see this in a young man at his window, with that man's reflection in the window as well as the interior lighting and outside. While his paintings never hold to one style, he definitely is able to show off his skills in whatever style he chooses and show himself through the painting. Caillebotte truly was an overlooked Impressionist during his time. While he had many realism qualities in his paintings, I feel he blended both styles uniquely and made his paintings really his own.